Analog horror. TV tropes describes it as a subgenre of found footage that, as the name implies, involves footage made to look like from the days of the analog media on the late 20th century, such as VHS tapes, FM radio, cathode ray tube television, etc. Unlike most found footage, there are usually few to no characters involved, and the footage is made to resemble some regular television broadcasts or random documentaries. The horror part comes from the footage being showed is somehow corrupted, hijacked, or describing some phenomena out of this world. With that bit of context, I think you get an idea of what all this is about. A few weeks ago, I stumbled upon a channel with a series of videos talking about the new species of fleshy growths, similar to the SCP-610, and I just wanted to talk about it. This thing starts like one of those old public service announcements things from the Living Meat National Research. It talks about a subspecies of creatures that suddenly appeared in our world around the 30s, with an unknown origin. These look very similar to skinless mammals, and their diet consists of organic matter and carrion. For this, they've been given the classification of Vita Carnis. They tend to lurk around places with an abundance of Singularities carnis, also known as the crow. These are fleshy tendrils that grow in a similar pattern to mold or vines. On their end, they have small organelles that absorb water and other nutrients, just like any other plant. They even do photosynthesis in their own way, which allows them to thrive in most of Earth's ecosystems. You may think that the abrupt introduction of a new species will be harmful to the environment, but due to their fast life cycle, they've integrated pretty well in the food chain. The crow feeds from the soil, dies, then the plants feed from the rotten meat, then the prey animals eat the plants, and the cycle continues. They also have an accelerated growth radio if left unchecked. As we can see in this not-suspicious newspaper cut out of a radio tower that fell off due to an overgrowth of crow. Some people even harvest them domestically to use it as a fertilizer. They're edible despite their unappealing appearance, and if you think about it, this is literally vegan meat. Sometimes these tendrils will form nodes that pop off of the main stem to grow into its own organism. That'll be the second species from the Carnis family. Vita Carnis, or Trimmings. These have the appearance of a round-shaped raccoon-like mammal, with 6 to 12 limbs depending on their size. It's more like a giant fleshy mite, and can get up to 20 centimeters. They're omnivores, and despite their quite terrifying look, they lack a proper defense system, and will resort to screech and hide if they feel threatened. You may think that their population will just die off eventually, but where there's an abundance of crow, there are trimmings. And there's also this not-suspicious newspaper cutout talking about a trimming infestation where they found 400 of these guys under an abandoned satellite plate. Fortunately, their life expectancy is just of 2 to 4 years. Some people even have them as pets, so yeah. The next species is the Vita Carnis, or meat snake. A worm-like creature composed of a variety of meats, coated in a transparent skin membrane. At the start of its life cycle, it sprouts from the crow's tendril, no larger than a penny, and can grow up to 5 meters in length. But under extreme conditions such as natural disasters, war, or famine, it can surpass these measures, just like this non-suspicious newspaper that mentions something about a cold. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. Its diet consists mostly of carrion, dead animals, and decaying plant matter. Anything it eats is added to its corporeal mass. Other stuff like pelvises, skulls, hair and nails are just excreted, although it usually keeps the skulls of various animals and wears them on its head. They can live up to 28 years, they reproduce by mitosis, and are pretty docile. They're also used in slaughterhouses and zoos to get rid of rotten flesh and dead animals. The next creature is the flesh mimics, and here's where this thing starts to get really weird. Also known as Vita Carnis, a bipedal predator with an unsettling human-like anatomy. They look like humans with a couple of exaggerated features, such as elongated limbs and fingers, bloated eyes, and a long smile full of teeth. Its diet consists exclusively of human flesh and lives in areas with high human activity. Its life cycle starts similar to the trimming, hunting small animals, progressively going after bigger and bigger prey before going after humans. He'll begin to stalk its prey, finding an unsuspecting victim, hiding inside closets or furniture, waiting for the right moment where the person is just too tired or distracted to strike. If it reaches late adulthood, two things may happen. If it has a constant supply of food, it'll grow hair and skin to blend inadvertently among humans. That is, if you call that inadvertently. And the other thing is that if a mimic has an overabundance of food, it'll become black, pitch black, grow taller, and now can hunt even better in the dark, leaving only its pink face exposed. The steps to follow if you're being attacked by a mimic are more or less the same with a mountain lion. Only difference being that guns and aluminum bats are useless against them. Or so they say, because I'm pretty sure that a good swing on the ribcage would be enough to kill Monolith Slenderman here. It's not as if it were a supernatural creature, is it? Is it? The next horrifying miracle's evolution is the Vita Carnis, also known as Harvester. This thing consists of an egg-shaped mass of meat and organs of 3 meters in height and 2 meters wide. with 2 types of root-like tendrils on its bottom that spread up to 150 meters horizontally. Its life cycle begins with a crow's nut grows and grows until becoming a giant uncooked meatball, feeding off the main stem. Its tendrils are covered in 2 rows of poisonous spikes, one side filled with neurotoxin and the other filled with anticoagulant. Or in simple words, one paralyzes you and the other bleeds you out. When a medium-sized animal goes near a harvester, this will spring out of the ground like a bird trap. The mix of venom immobilizes the prey until it faints for the blood loss, while the creature uses its other set of tendrils to drag the corpse underground, to feed from it. In case of falling victim for a harvester, there's no way of saving you, for there's no antidote for the venom. Just as we see in this other not-suspicious newspaper cutout of a family that fell trap of a harvester. So take precaution when going out hiking on temperate forests. If there's no wildlife around you and there's an extra abundance of vegetation, you might be in harvester territory. The next species is the host of influence, or Vita Carnis. It resembles a human torso, with its upper limbs rooting into the ground by fine tendons. Its body is covered in muscle tissue, with a smooth face and a vertical slit along its neck. That'll be its mouth. On its back, there are hair-like hollow appendages that release a spore in the environment. And here is why it's called the host, like the host of a party. When inhaled, the spore finds its way to the brain, leaving the affected body with a sense of numbness and a slow thought process, turning after a while into dizziness and impaired speech. After 7 hours, the infected will try to move towards the host location. Once in the creature's range, the infected will kneel down with his arms extended, and the host will start to remove his organs by unknown means. Then it will unroot itself to find a new hunting ground. But if the affected can reach the host location in 24 hours, the effects will just disappear. Then we have the Monolith, or Vita Carnis. These are relatively new to the world, appearing on June 1972, on area redacted. There are 7 of them arranged on a ring of 3 kilometers in diameter. Each of them measure up to 120 meters in height. Their bodies are composed of meat fibers, ending in a triangular-shaped head with a hole in its center. Their legs are firmly anchored to the ground and extend several meters horizontally. Usually, these flesh statues only decorate the landscape, although one time, on Date Reducted, they became aggressive and attacked a van heading a near town. Military vehicles were dispatched, but a Monolith emitted an AMP that disabled all the equipment, so they resorted to long-range missiles, but the Monolith tanked the attack. What happened next is redacted, and to this day the site has been fenced and is under constant surveillance, with no more activities reported since then. At last we have the Singularity, and here's where the tape just stops working. This thing's called Vita Carnis. Little is known about it. It's a sphere made up of a black ore with 1 meter in diameter, with traces of light in its core. It shows various anomalous properties, such as emitting electromagnetic fields and various energy readings. And here's where the footage breaks entirely. There's also some frames with what seems to be some fairy tale pages of a prince that finds a strange village of goblins or something like that. Maybe we can figure out some of the lore behind these things there. But I think I'll just cut the video here, so that's it for today. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, tell me what you think here in the comments and all that stuff. My name's Tremorox, and see you all next time. Bye bye!